let's move on to the next point, which is this. I think people need to be aware of this. The crystal forests are going. Of course, there's the question of like, well, they could manually put it back in. I don't think so, and here's why. The system that they had them under before doesn't exist anymore. They've killed, you don't find, when you fly up, you don't find geo and bio sites on planets anymore. It's now this blue, green, scan, find stuff in little clumps here and there, and it's much more organic in a way that's very cool, and there's a lot positive to that in the sense of, I think it makes the galaxy much better, the planets and the fauna on planets much, much better to just have like weird little splotches of growth of stuff in 1,000 different places, as opposed to I go to a planet, there's 4 places, there's all the stuff is within a weird sort of 500-foot circle in this one location, 4 different places on the planet. Like, this is very cool and very good, and I think I think it's much, much better for the galaxy as a whole. So big salute to that. But it is a serious concern for people who have been farming those mats in the Crystal Forest sites. So why don't we have Roy and Tweak take over with their little field trip of they tested a site in the alpha. Go.
Well, I'll let Tweak describe the site. We were trying to figure out what we could test within the bubble that was provided to us in alpha, because we can't reach the crystal sites yet. Tweak, do you want to describe the site we went to?
Sure. What we did was, because of where the alpha is taking place, it's within a 50 light year bubble of opic space, actually. So I knew of a spot that I farm quite frequently where are some really great selenium sites. So I can go in the live game, scan the planet, probe the planet, and on my nav panel, it will say geological sites 1 through 34 or whatever. And I know I can go down to site 30 and it's pretty flat and I can collect my selenium. So Roy and I decided one night after, I think it was after last week's show, actually.
Yeah.
He got on his alpha, I got on my live game, and we tried to both go there. Obviously, we weren't going to instance because we're on different platforms, but long story short, I found the spot. And Roy, go ahead and explain.
Yeah,
what you
so
had to do.
I mean, it went to the heat map, and the particular planet that in the live server has all these geosites where selenium's plentiful. It took a while scanning around the giant green sphere to find a couple of blips of blue, and what was showing was 2 geosites, but not in the conventional way they are in the live server. When you use the new heat map, 2 geo things now just means there's 2 choices on the heat map. And when we went and looked at those, I was doing my best to fly straight down into some of these little blue spots, and we found nothing. There wasn't even, I mean, it was supposed to be fumaroles and geysers. We went to numerous sites and found none. Granted, the space we have to test this in is limited. Before they mentioned what they were doing now with Phase 4, I was hoping from last week to this week we'd be able to actually go test this on crystal sites. But the short story here is, at least for one, they're not. It doesn't appear that they're trying to preserve the same location of things that you found in terms of like great sites for geo or bio in the old live server.
I would say real quick that we should mention that when you scan the planet, you came up with the same selenium numbers that I do. So supposedly it was there.
The base percentages of minerals appeared to be the same. At least the high selenium one, but there wasn't any standout sites to go get it. I guess is the point.
So basically, what we're seeing here, like I said, it's a good thing. The planet is becoming more scientific as a whole, in the sense of, if you have 4.9 or 3.9 selenium, the way the base game, the way Horizons has it now, is all of that selenium is located in like 5 very discrete little clusters on the whole planet. Whereas what Roy is clearly saying here is that we're experiencing now is it's been spread out sort of, not exactly equally, but in a statistical fucking way across the whole planet. So instead of 4 locations for selenium, now it's 1,000 locations for selenium. And that's good for realism. It's not great for efficiency on collecting your stuffs.
Yeah, and it may have been an aberration with this one planet that we actually couldn't, because I would have expected to at least have seen some geysers and fumaroles, even if they weren't dropping selenium, and there was nothing when we went into those hotspots. So I don't know if that was a glitch or a bug, but with that being a super good location in the live server, there definitely wasn't any correlation between that and what was happening in the alpha server on that planet.
Well, it does fit, though, when you think it through logically. The system is changed. Like,
yeah,
it was 4 locations clearly marked from space, and it's like, go to this discrete spot and it's all there. And now it's this heat map thing where there's a little splash here, the splotch there, and okay, there's one, there's a couple of them over here in Albuquerque, and there's a whole ton of them over there in London, and then there's some of them over here in Moscow. Like, it's no longer just they're all in Ohio, Moscow, and London. Now they're everywhere.
The thing we were trying to figure out and unfortunately couldn't confirm is if we had found, say, some geysers or fumaroles that did drop selenium, presumably the only way we'd be able to communicate that to anyone else is by the latitude and longitude, because there wouldn't be a POI. Yes, there'd be the coloring on the heat map, but this one in particular had very few hotspots. They were tiny. But if we had found one, instead of telling someone go to POI, go to the 4th geo site on this planet, now it'll become, oh, you can go to this planet and it's going to be these latitude and longitude coordinates. And we're going to have to get good at flying to coordinates again.
Yeah. So we're going to have to see, and I guarantee you, literally, May 19th, Odyssey drops, if the servers are stable, within an hour or two of whenever those servers get stable, whether it's that day or the next day or whatever. Within an hour or two, you're going to have people posting on Reddit saying, here it is. I logged out at this Crystal Forest site. I logged back in. No S here. So
even if it is there and we can no longer have the POIs in our, I contend that that's not more realistic. I think if we had a scanner that could probe the planets, that our scanner could tell us the locations to lock onto and go down. I mean, again, we're in 3307, not 21. So.
What
I'm saying, Tweaked, is it's not going to be there. It's not.
The real, another unanswered question is, if crystal forests are preserved as a biotype, will they still be on that planet, or has that planet been re-rolled, so to speak, and now where it used to be a crystal forest, it has a chance to be any one of however many 41 whatever bios there are, and we're going to have to go on another galactic search for first the planets that have crystal forests at all as a biosite, and then what the coordinates are where you can find it.
So basically, here's the thing. Basically, this is like other stuff. You hear it here first. You hear it on Elite Week. I haven't heard a single. Please speak up if anybody's heard anybody else discuss this. I haven't heard anyone else discuss this. And the reason why we're bringing it up, the reason why we do this science and look and find and pick at the details, is to get it in the community as a discussion topic, so that people will tweet Frontier. People will mention it in a live stream. People will talk about it on the forums. People will say something on Reddit. And if enough people tell Frontier, hey guys, we definitely like this new planet, whatever, but for the love of Christ, break the rules in these 2 systems, in outs and HIP 33806 or whatever. Just keep the crystal forest in those 2 systems, and the rest of the galaxy, cool. Let's have it better. Let's have it whatever. But whatever it is you need to do, please, for the love of Christ, go back and manually put them in, please.
One last note that we should probably bring up. I don't know if it was important or not. I mean, maybe this is a bug, maybe this is working as intended, but in the live game, in my version of the game, the planet looked like the ice planet that it's supposed to be. And Roy's, it really didn't, did it, Roy? Yours looked more like a rocky planet or something to me,
That
anyways.
might be because the planetary tech's not fully
Right,
rolled
it
out,
could
but
be.
Yeah, it was
be.
different. It was a different look, different. Yeah. Yeah.
So we took the information that we had. We found a crystal forest site in, we went and looked in that 50 light year bubble. We found a biosite that is there in the base game, is not there in the alpha. You draw the conclusions. We'll see. I very much hope, and again, I hope that people will bring this up. Just ask the devs, say, hey, did you see, we went on Elite Week and they were talking about it and saying that this biosite doesn't exist, whatever. Are you guys going to make some special arrangements for the Crystal Forest? Because we would very much like that. Now's the time to mention it, and hopefully Frontier will do it.